Hey everybody, it's Deborah again with another installment of our advances on starting our company, Africa Protects Mother Earth. So right now, you're seeing one of my neighbors take the machete out of my hand, which was probably a good idea, uh, as we cut down this stump that was in my backyard's been there for a couple years. And what we're doing is preparing the ground to make the compost. So we had this stump and we needed browns, okay? So browns are the materials that hold the carbon. And in making compost, you need four principal elements. Materials with carbon, which are the browns, materials with nitrogen, and in our case, this will be food scraps, and those are considered the greens, and you need air and water. So if you notice, there's a small pile of wood sticks on the ground here. And what we're going to do is use these to create a base for our compost. And we need a base that's carbon. So this is made out of wood, so it meets that. And because it's not real dense, and we'll be able to kind of stack them in one layer, we'll be able to have good air circulation around them, and that's again what we need. We're going to also get some. What'd you do with the trash? What'd you do with the trash? Yeah, where? Oh, you have a can? Okay, what a cousin. Okay, you know how I am about trash. Okay. So, what we're going to do is create like a base on the ground there. And you see our beautiful land right out here. We're going to create a base. And on that, I'm going to see if we can find some old banana leaves that we can put on top. And then once we do that, then we're ready to start putting the greens on. And we put the greens on, and then we'll put sawdust on top of the greens. And we do that because we always want to act like this. We're making a lasagna, a compost lasagna. So we always want to put browns on top of the greens. And we cover them to prevent the smell. And that, of course, will attract, I don't know, I'll call them pests, varmints, whatever. Now we've got like a real little conundrum because we've got this thick mass of tree. So I guess we're going to just try to pick different parts of it off so we can cut it down to smaller branches. But anyway, so we always want to cover our greens with sawdust to prevent the smell, to prevent rats. And then we lightly moisten it because you don't want to have things dry. You don't want to have the sawdust fly away. And let me tell you, I've been composting now, I guess it's been 3 years. Yeah, about 3 years. And in a few minutes, I'll go and show you the volunteer plants that have come out of the compost. Things that I never planted, things that I never planned for. They just grow. They just grow. And one of the things that, the lessons that I'm learning on this journey is that after you leave Mother Nature alone for the most part, she'll handle it. And so I'm going to show you in a few minutes what's happening in my compost piles. So on this in this land, we're going to start our commercial composting operation, but I'm also going to continue my personal composting. And that's because I use human manure. what in the world is humanure? Well, humanure is the organic materials that come out of you after you have masticated and digested your food. I think you get my drift. And I believe the humanure and also my cat's uh, litter, they've contributed a little bit to. Um, I think that has led to the proliferation of tomatoes and watermelon and eggplant. And there was avocado. We took the avocado tree out and sent that to Huye with Daniel so he could have avocados on his land. But I think that humanure has really, really made the difference in terms of the fertility and the vitality of the plants that are growing. But we have to be very careful with that. The recommendation is if you're going to use humanure to fertilize crops, that you let it decompose for at least 12 to 18 months. And I think that's a really good idea. I think that's a really good idea because you certainly don't want any pathogens that might be contained in the humanure to pass along into the crops and make people sick. So I will not be producing any compost with any kind of manure, cow, human, cat, dog, otherwise. We're just going to use food and sawdust, water, and air, and we're going to see how that works. And I think it's going to work pretty well. I think it's going to work pretty good. So I had 2-year-old compost, and I put it in a raised a raised garden bed. And before I knew it, there were these, like, we had like 7 eggplants spring up out of it. I don't ever remember putting eggplant in my compost, but somehow there it is. I had some neighbors who had used my trash can for their garbage at one point, and so maybe they put the eggplant in there. I don't know. But I mean, it's just amazing. Again, I didn't do anything except put the dirt in the raised garden bed, and then boom, 7 eggplant plants prop up. So you'll see Samuel over here. Samuel, who's another one of my neighbors, who's also he is the 3rd employee of the company, and he and I are going to be responsible for getting the materials for the compost. He and I are responsible for keeping this area clean, and that's what he's doing now, making sure that we get all the trash out of here. And we're going to make sure that we get good quality food scraps from our neighbors and hopefully local restaurants. Although what I did learn is that some of the restaurants or some of the neighbors will sell their food scraps to pig farmers so that they have food for the pigs. And I thought, humans are very smart. And if we follow our instincts and our ancient wisdom, we tend to do the right thing. So you've already got people who are recycling food scraps and keeping it out of the landfill. And that's what we want. So we've already got people doing it. And rather than make me upset about that, I am deliriously happy that people are already taking steps to take care of Mother Earth. And like our name says, Africa protects Mother Earth. And I think the better the job we do of that, the better the planet will be. All of the planet. So anyhow, that is what is going on. I'm so grateful to my neighbor. Once he gets this done, I'm going to lay out on the driveway here how I want the wood to be laid out on the land, and then Samuel will do that. And then we'll look for some dried banana leaves to put on top. And then we're going to be ready to start collecting food scraps. So I will show you some more a little later. And thank you for being with us. Things are moving along. If you like the video and like to learn more, I encourage you to subscribe. Please, we welcome your comments, questions, suggestions, and like and share, because we want to continue doing this and getting the word out and helping to protect our mother. We love our mother. All right, everyone. Have a great day. Bye-bye.